Hi, I'm Daisy and welcome back to my channel. First of all, I want to wish all of you happy Easter. Make sure to have a safe and wonderful celebration. A couple of days ago, I uploaded a video with 10 different ideas for celebrating your birthday in quarantine. If you missed it, there's a link here and down in the description. But I got a lot of positive feedback on this video. A lot of people really appreciated my ideas and thanked me for giving them a way to celebrate their birthday. So I decided to do the same video but for Easter, which is tomorrow, or if you're watching it on Easter, it's today. So yeah, hopefully my ideas are helpful and let's get started. Now my first suggestion is something that we already do around the Easter holidays, and that's cooking and baking. There are thousands, if not millions, of ideas online. You can check YouTube or Pinterest for really cool ideas, and I'm sure you're going to find a great recipe to try out. But with more time on your hands, you can actually try to make one of those a little bit more complex recipes that you've always wanted to try but never got around to doing so, like Easter bread, for example. Easter bread is really delicious, but it does require a little bit more time and some skills, which is why not everyone is doing it around Easter holidays. But now that you have more time, I encourage you to try it out. I uploaded a video yesterday with our family Easter bread recipe. You can check it out up here after this video and try the recipe out and let me know in the comments of the video how it turned out. The next thing you can do is an Easter indoor tea party or brunch, or whatever form of party you want. Decorate the house, decorate the table, and serve those delicious treats that you just made. Make sure that you're having a lot of fun with your family and you are creating some memorable experiences with them. If you don't live with your relatives, you can actually schedule an online brunch or lunch with them. You can call each other, turn the cameras on, and eat at the same time while talking. I'm sure that it will lighten up your spirit and you will feel like you are there with them. Another idea that combines the previous two is to have an online baking session with someone. This you would do with someone who also loves baking just like you, but is far away. You're not in quarantine together, you're separated, and you need that connection that you normally would have if the conditions were different. For example, I used to do this with my mom when I was in London. I would call her, and while we were talking on the phone, we would just start baking and make one of our favorite recipes that we would normally do together. Another idea is for you to play Easter games. I've seen 1,000 of great ideas on Pinterest, and there are a lot of really cool ones for kids that are Easter related. But if you're looking for something that's a little bit more appropriate for adults, you can actually try to play one of your board games but put an Easter twist on it. For example, you can play Scrabble, but have a rule that only words that are related to the Easter holidays are allowed. Look at the games that you already own and use your creativity to modify them. Now, if you don't own any board games that could be modified and turned into an Easter spin-off, I also have a solution for you. I created my own Easter themed board game that's based on the original activity board game. It's a great game. I don't know if you've played it or not. I definitely recommend it, especially for families. But I have one at home and I made an Easter spin-off, which I'm going to show you how to make right now. You want to start by outlining the board game on a large piece of paper using a ruler and a pen. You need 50 squares that are even in size. 2 of them you're going to use for the start and the end of the game, and the rest of the squares you're going to use for gameplay. In this game, there are 3 different actions you can use to describe the words on your card: draw, act, or talk. Therefore, you're going to choose 3 different colors that are going to represent those actions on the board. Then you're going to start coloring in the squares. Make sure that you have 16 squares for each color, since they are 48 in total, and do this in no particular order. To give your game some definition, outline with a black marker. Next, you're going to take an old deck of cards that you no longer use and glue white paper on top of each card. And now on the blank piece of paper, you're going to write Easter-related words and phrases. If you have the time or patience, you can draw on the cards to make them more beautiful. Here you can see how my board game looks like. It starts at the top and then it curves like a snake until it goes out at the bottom. For the game, you will also need 1 dice and as much playing pieces as teams you have. To start the game, one person from one of the teams is going to roll the dice and then move the piece according to the number. Next, he's going to draw a card from the pile. Then, he will need to explain his word to the rest of his team. The method of explanation will be determined by the color of the box. To make it even more challenging, you can turn on your timer on a minute or minute and a half. If he is successful and his teammates guess the word, the figure is going to stay where it is. If not, however, it needs to go back to where it was. Now, if a tea party or brunch is not really your cup of tea, you can actually try to have an indoor picnic. Do you remember those forts that we used to build as kids with old blankets and sheets that you would just throw around the different furniture around the house and you would actually enter in and have all of your toys in there? Well, why not do it again? You can actually recreate this right now in your living room or any room in the house and have an indoor picnic in this fort. I'm sure it's going to be really fun, not only for you to go back and relive those memories again, but also if you have kids, I'm sure that they're going to have a blast if you do this together. Now, if you live in a house with garden, make sure to do this outside. The next idea is another thing that's very classic and something that we always do around Easter, and it's to do Easter crafts. Now, of course, like I said, with more time on your hands, you are able to try out different things that you've always wanted to but didn't have the time. You can also do a couple with your kids if you have, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun and make some great memorable experiences. And of course, when we're talking about Easter crafts, we cannot forget about decorating Easter eggs. Just because the situation is different and we must celebrate and stay at home, it does not mean that you should ditch all of those great traditions and not do them. In fact, they're going to help you pass the time quicker and you're 100% going to have much more fun. Go ahead and find some really cool Pinterest hacks and ideas for how you can decorate your eggs. Try something different that you've never done before. For example, there's this really cool trick using shaving cream. There's also a great one with dyeing eggs with natural flavors using vegetables and different spices. I'm sure that this is something that requires a little bit more time, but now that you have it, you can definitely try it out and see if you like it. The next idea is to download a couple of coloring pages related to Easter and color them with your kids. Now, coloring is fun for adults too, not just for kids, so no shame if you actually go ahead and do this. I color myself, so what you can do is just go online and find some coloring pages that are related to Easter that you can download and print at home and color them while watching a good and happy movie. And the last idea I have for you is, again, another one of the classic traditions related to Easter, and it's an Easter egg scavenger hunt. I know that most of you probably have done it outside before or have incorporated both the indoors and the outdoors, but now just because you must stay inside, it does not mean that you cannot have this scavenger hunt, especially if you have kids. I'm sure it's going to make them very, very happy. There are a lot of posts on Pinterest that offer ready to print clues. You just have to download them, print them out, cut them up, and make sure to put them in the appropriate rooms. So there you have it. Those are my ideas for how you can spend Easter at home. Don't forget to let me know in the comments down below which of those you would actually try out and what are your plans if you already have some. Like this video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next week.